Welcome back, everyone. We have a topic today. I don't know about you, but every week when Ray and I sit down and talk about these certain technologies that are available to us as small businesses or as individuals, I mean, it just resonates with me all week long. Have we got a topic today that is really appropriate for the climate we live in? Collaboration technology. So first, Ray, welcome.
Thank you.
You weathered the storm here, right?
We did. We made it.
When the going gets tough, Ray shows up. That's pretty good.
That was good.
Hey, collaboration technology. A couple of words that we kind of understand them as technology and collaboration, but give us an overview here, what you're talking about.
Sure. So the terms collaboration technology really are about creating effective means for people to work together no matter where they are, using audio, video, and web conferencing. So tying those three together in meaningful ways so that people can get their work done really no matter where they are.
Right. You know what? And the way technology moves so rapidly, those of us that first remember the whole idea of video conferencing, there was that fuzzy picture of someone, you couldn't move the camera, you really couldn't see someone's expressions.
Right.
Right? You think about how valuable that is.
Very.
People misinterpret emails because
Yes.
they can't understand the phrasing.
Yes.
But so let's just talk a bit about that.
Yeah, so I think one of the most important things to realize is that in-person communication, like you and I are here right now, one-on-one, or with a group of people around a table in a small enough space, you get all of the communication, because so much of human interaction is based upon body language. You know, what's going on with the eyes, little twitches and facial expressions. So much is conveyed that way. So when you take that and convert that to an audio phone call, or the one-on-one phone call, or an audio conference, you lose, you know, maybe 60 or 70. I've heard up to 70% of that kind of level of communication is lost when you go to audio call. So, but that's an efficiency thing, right? So we do that. We have conference calls. It helps us get things done, but you lose a lot. So when you can add additional things back in, such as video and high definition video, you get a lot of that back. So, you know, with a high definition video conference at the highest end of it, you might not lose any of that level of communication. And then when you can share information on screens, such as financial information, you know, Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations, maybe working on a document, just going through a Word document and building that document together. That really enables people to work together and to collaborate in a very meaningful way without losing as much communication as you do when you just have an audio conference.
And you know, you don't even really need to be land-based, right? And what I mean by that is in your office or in your home. You could be traveling, right?
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, one of the great things is that if I need to go to New York City for the day and I decide I'm going to take the train, I may be able to carry on some meetings. Now, granted, if I'm traveling by train to New York, as you know, you're going to go through a few tunnels. You're going to lose your cell phone connectivity in a few places. But I use an iPhone, and this enables me to partake in not just an audio call. I can be on the train. I can log into a web conference, so I can see information that's being shared with the other people in that call on my screen here. And if my signal is strong enough, you know, 4G. With enough bars, I can actually participate by video. I wouldn't necessarily do that when I'm on the train, but the point of it is I can be pretty much anywhere, and if I have connectivity, i.e. a good strong cell signal or a strong Wi-Fi connection, or if I'm at home on my private network at home, I can do all the things that I can do in the office. So it's really about efficiency and continuing workflow. Without having to have that mantra, okay, we have to meet in the office in this conference room at 1 o'clock. I may have a couple people that are doing something else that day, visiting some clients. They may have a couple of windows of time in between meetings. They could be sitting in their car, they could stop at a Starbucks, whatever the case may be, and continue to get that kind of collaboration type of work done. It also enables time slicing, right? The idea of doing work at different times of the day, I mean, hey, that's kind of the way the world is today, especially with Generation Y. They want to have the opportunity to work while they're in the office, while they're at a client site, while they're at home. And, you know, some people might say, you know what, on Tuesdays I go to the gym from 10 to 11. I need that for my personal health. It's important. As an employer, I support that 100%. Do that so that you feel better, because then you work better. And then they might say, well, from 3 to 6 p.m., I need to be with my kids. That's after school time. We're going to do some homework and do dinner. And if they want to do that and then jump back on and use collaboration technologies to get work done with people in their groups after hours, have at it. I think it's great.
Well, you know, a lot of the communication too is time zone sensitive. You know, we've got people in Los Angeles in our business
Right.
that we work with, and then, of course, we've got that 3-hour gap. And, you know, just a quick sidebar, I don't know what it is about engineers, but I get texts from our engineer at like 2 in the morning. Do they ever sleep, engineers?
I think they do. I'm just not exactly sure when.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you know, my business is obviously very, very visual. We're not talking about Skype here, right? I heard a phrase, telepresence. Now, I think that elevates it to Uber video, right?
Telepresence is Uber video.
Yeah. What is that?
absolutely. That is a phrase that was coined by Cisco Systems and a company called Tamberg, which was later bought by Cisco. And that is effectively kind of the highest level of high-definition audio-video conference, really, that you can have. And with telepresence, you actually build out the entire room for that purpose. So it's multi-room-to-room conferencing, and it's very high definition. So for example, the screens will be configured usually in either 2 or 3 in sort of a semicircle, and then the table, the participants will sit on the other side of that oval. So you might have 2, 3, 4, 5 participants looking at screens. The people on the other side of that conference are looking at you, you're looking at them, and it's as if you're in the same room together because the screens are showing everybody life size. The audio is super high definition, so you can hear every little thing. And the video is such high definition, you can see every facial expression, you know, from the tabletop up.
As if you were sitting with someone
there.
across a conference room table.
Good. Yeah, it's amazing. Now, of course, with that comes expense, you know, so that's not necessarily for everybody, but it does have its place in business.
I bet it does. Now, at Anise & Associates, obviously you can deal with people at that level, and you do. You always mention to me that the healthcare industry has particular needs with regard to this.
Yeah, absolutely. The use of collaboration technologies and especially video is growing in healthcare, and the word for that is telemedicine or telemed.
Yeah, okay.
So most people in the healthcare industry have some familiarity with that now, and what that effectively means is providing a conduit to do patient interview type of work with a doctor somewhere else. So we have a client example who I'll leave unnamed, but here in New York State, it's a hospital system. They own multiple hospitals and ambulatory care centers and that sort of thing. And most of their physician talent pool is in their largest location, right? And what they used to do is they used to have physicians travel to remote sites, to the other hospitals or sometimes the other sites. And of course, with travel, you lose time, you know, an hour to 2 hours of drive time each way. So they'll only get half as many appointments in during the day. And of course, the hospital administrators would do that as well to go and manage those other locations. So we enabled teleconferencing or video conferencing and also telemed, so that not only could the administrators hold video conferences with staff at the remote location, so they didn't have to, we cut their travel by 60–70%, and we also cut the physicians' travel way down. So with telemedicine, we could effectively have a station in a room at a remote location, and it could have most of the sensing equipment that's needed for a patient interview. You know, so we could actually be transmitting, you know, blood pressure, looking in their ear, looking in their eye, down their throat. All that stuff could be done by a nurse at the remote location, and the doctor and the talent pool back at the central site is seeing that on a high-definition screen, and there's high-definition audio going back and forth. So it's like having a doctor in the room, except he's 100 miles away.
Gotcha.
So that was a tremendous savings for them, not only in cutting travel costs, but also lost work, you know, lost opportunity time, because now the docs could be busy all day when they're there instead of traveling.
Well, you know what, Ray? I'm seeing a couple of threads here that regardless of the size of the business, obviously big hospital corporations operating at a certain level, but even for a smaller business, and if I'm understanding it here, if you obviously, when a client comes in, you want to sit and be able to go through the strategy and the criteria as to whether or not the expense makes sense.
Right.
I'm catching a couple of threads here. Travel. Right?
Yeah, let's cut travel.
Right, exactly.
It's expensive, it loses time, and sometimes it's not safe. So, yeah.
You also mentioned slicing time, or whatever that phrase was.
Time slicing, yeah.
Time slicing, right. So that people are able to work when they feel most productive, correct? And then I guess the other thing is just the overall efficiencies.
Absolutely,
attached to this.
Yeah.
So regardless of the size of your business, if you suspect that there's a need, or you know that there's a need, and look, today's weather would be a perfect example of this. People can't get to a central location.
Or how about yesterday?
We made it.
Yeah, I mean, half of my company was working yesterday using collaboration technologies. Most of them were home.
Yes,
but we still got a lot done. It was a very busy day, but we, from Syracuse east, most people didn't have to go into the office, and we were able to get a lot of work done using these technologies.
Well, you know what? Time slicing, time efficiencies, being able to, if you're stuck because of the weather like we get, and of course the costs associated and the time associated with travel. Collaboration technology, what a topic. Well, thank you very much.
My
As
pleasure.
again, you're the expert. Hey, I've got an idea.
Okay.
Next week, how about we go back to the basics?
All right.
I
Let's
would
go
like
back
to
the
know
basics.
more about just the basic technologies, and you had a phrase for it, as you usually do.
Yeah, borderless networks.
Borderless networks.
Let's just talk about maybe the basics of how a network, what it is.
Yes.
What is a network?
Good,
And
great.
what are the pieces and parts of that?
Great, Ray, thank you very much.
Absolutely,
Again,
thank
very,
you.
very informative. To see this interview again, head to our website, looktvonline.com.